Hi, this is Roland Yarborough with Away From It All TV. Thanks for joining me. In our first 3 videos of our series, Fire University, we introduce you to the ferrocerium rod, again, which we believe is the simplest, most efficient way to make fire without an open source flame like a lighter or a match. And now, rather than continue on with the ferro rod, we've covered the basics of the ferrocerium rod, what it is and how to use it. I want to move more now into the basics and the fundamentals of actually assembling the materials you need to make fire. So today I'm going to show you the quickest and simplest way to gather wood to make a proper fire lay. Stick with me, we're going to get right to it. Okay, when you think about collecting firewood, one of the things you need to think about is safety. And for me right now, it's gotten warm. It's been warm for a few weeks. Snakes are out. So I'm wearing snake boots. Listen, just a few days ago, a gentleman here in North America died because he got bitten by a timber rattler twice. It's no joke out there. But you know what? Even if you don't die from a snake bite, think of the damage, the tissue damage, the nerve damage. Think of the time lost in the hospital. Think of the expense. Think of the pain and suffering. Hey, don't take a chance. Wear your snake boots when it's warm and you're going out in the woods, okay? If you don't have a pair, I really encourage you to go get a pair. And listen, I know the cheap way out is to think about buying those chaps, but a lot of people get snake bit right on top of their foot or on their ankle or on their heel where those chaps don't cover. The only way to be relatively sure that your lower extremities are going to be protected from snakes is to, number one, be aware. But all the awareness in the world is not going to protect you like snake boots will, because snakes are built for camouflage. And no matter how good of a woodsman you are, I've been in the woods since I was 5 years old. 5 decades I've been in the woods. And you still can't see a snake if they're hidden well. So don't take a chance and get you some good snake boots and wear them when you get out there. Now, what else are you going to take with you when you go to collect firewood? Let's look at some options you might want to consider. If you want to protect your hands, you don't have really tough hands and you're concerned about that, a good pair of leather gloves, there's no substitute for that. Something else you might want to consider, especially when it's greened up like it is now in spring and in summer, is a nice machete. Get you a good one. This one's a 1/4 inch thick, Scandi grind, nice machete. Carry it with you, got a belt loop, got a sheath. It's best not to walk through the woods with a tool in your hand without a sheath. It's very unsafe. Always try to make sure you have a sheath if possible. So a machete, cut brush, cut limbs, and if you have to kill a snake, that works too. Something I particularly love is a lightweight small axe like this tomahawk. It's a great hawk made by Walk by Faith 777 company. They do top shelf work. They don't sponsor me, I'm just giving them a shout out. This is an excellent, very lightweight, very powerful tool. It'll help you cut a lot of wood if you need to. And last but not least is a forest type axe. This is a Hultefer's hunter's axe, 19 inches. Excellent woodworking piece of tool here, piece of kit. Cut a lot of wood with this, and this will do you well for collecting some firewood. Now let's get out there and see what we can find. And just walking down this little path through the woods, you can see right there, there's a tree. It's dead, it's down, but it's lying on the ground. Now anything that's lying directly in contact with the ground is going to absorb a certain degree of moisture. So I'm going to be looking further into the distance, and this is a tip for you hunters out there. Don't just look from here to the top of that hill. Look way into the depth of the woods, because the deer, the turkeys, whatever you're looking for, a lot of times it really helps to look deep into the woods. All right, I can see right there, there's a bent over dead pine tree. And if you walk down this way a little bit further, you can see right back up through there a tangle of down dead trees that are up off the ground. What I'm looking for, if I can find it, is something that's dead and down, but up off the ground. Dead hanging is the best thing you can get. or dead suspended in some way. So let's go see what we've got. We'll check out this fallen pine right here. Now let's just see what this looks like. All right, the test of whether something is going to be good firewood or not is what we call the number 2 pencil test. Does it snap? If there's much bend to it, it might burn, but there's going to be moisture in it, and that's a dead giveaway. So here we're going to try this. Now see, it snapped, and it sounded pretty crisp, but there was some bend to it before it snapped. Watch this. See that bend right there? See how much it bent before it snapped? It snapped. Now this is dry, and it'll work in a pinch. So if something snaps like that, it'll work. But you can see how much it bends before it snaps. So it's pretty good, but not optimal. So we're going to keep looking. We'll go over there to that other pile of stuff and see what that looks like. See that little dead hanging stuff right there? Let's check it out. Now this is dead and it's hanging off the ground. So I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to check it out. Here we go. Now see? Almost no bend. That's going to work. It's almost rotten, but that's going to burn. It's dry, it's dead, it's down. That's the test I'm wanting to show you. Here's another piece. See how nice and snappy that is? That's what you're looking for. Now in terms of what we're trying to collect, let me just go ahead and show you while I'm here. We're looking for 3 basic sizes of kindling material. We're looking for something like this. Anything from needle size up to pencil size. So little tiny stuff, small stuff. Next we're looking for stuff like this, around thumb size stuff. And last, we're looking for stuff about the size of your wrist. So needle to pencil, pencil to thumb, thumb to wrist, and above wrist is called fuel, and you can get as big as you want. Let's go see what's over there at that fallen pine. All right, this tree is dead. It's down, but it's off the ground. I'm gonna take a look at it. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's dry. That's gonna burn real good. Now, instead of trying to break off all these small things and put them in a pile and carry them to the campsite, then come back and get the pencil size, the thumb size stuff and carry that to the camp, and come back and find some arm size stuff and carry that to camp, why not pick up this whole small tree right here, this whole branch, the whole thing, and carry it to camp? Drag it out, process it right there. You got enough wood right here on this one branch to build a fire. Come on and I'll show you. All right, we got this branch back to our area. I'm not snake bit. Everything's good. I'm going to start processing this down into 3 groups of kindling. All right, here's what we were able to get out of that one limb for our fire lay. There's the small stuff, and you can see how small, needle size. There's the medium size stuff, little pencil size stuff, and there's the bigger stuff, thumb sized and up. Now you watch me break that without using a tool. Anytime you can process firewood down, or anything else you can do, any task, any job that needs to be done, if you can do it without using a tool, that's the conservation of your resources. You're conserving the edge of your knife, the teeth of your saw, the pole of your axe, the bit of your axe. Anytime you can break it by hand, use a fulcrum to break it, use leverage to break it. Do that rather than utilize a resource that's much more difficult to replace, like a piece of steel. All right, from that one limb, we've collected larger than a basketball size group of small needle to pencil size material that's dead dry as a bone. It's going to go up like that, so when you get this over your fire, over your bird nest, you're going to want to have your next pile ready to go. I'd like to have about 3 times the size of this And this is the medium-sized stuff, and I'll tell you what, this is dry as you want to see it, and that's what you're looking for, that number 2 pencil, snappy and dry, no bend to it. And over here we've got the larger thumb size and up fuel. I'd like to have a nice pile of that. The great problem I see a lot of people have is they don't collect enough material before they start building a fire. You don't want to just go collect a bunch of this stuff, get your bird nest going, throw this on top of it, then start scurrying around to find this stuff and this stuff. You want to have a pile of stuff. You want to assemble your material and build a proper fire lay, bring it over close to the area where you're going to build your fire, and have everything ready to go before you start ignition. And that's very important. Even on some of these survival shows on television, that's one of the big problems I see with them making fire. They don't assemble enough material. I'd like to have 3 times the size of this and about 3 or 4 times that. But all we have is that one limb, and I just wanted to show you, if I had to get a fire started that would probably burn for 20 or 30 minutes, this is enough. I don't know if we'd get 30 minutes, but we might get 15 or 20. This is enough to get a rudimentary fire started, and that's what I showed you. Now, what could you do if you got 3 of those limbs? You'd have plenty. So the simple way to collect fire building material, go in the wood, find some dead, down, and hanging limbs. The bigger the better. Get 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Carry somebody with you, get some help. Drag the whole limb up to the campsite, process it there, and that way you don't have to be walking back and forth up and down through the woods. So next time we're together, we're going to talk about how to build a proper bird nest. There are a lot of materials you can use and a lot of different ways to ignite it. We're going to go through most of the most common ones and break it down so you can clearly understand exactly how to do it. Hey, thanks for joining me today on Away From It All TV. I hope you've learned something. Hey, like the video, share the video, subscribe to our channel, and you know what? It'd do you good to get out there, take somebody with you, get away from it all, where dreams are restored in the great outdoors.